friends. Welcome to Tales from the Stacks. We're so happy that you are tuning in to listen to Two Dogs in a Trench Coat Go to School. So, just a quick recap. Waldo and Sassy, the dogs, are dressed up in a trench coat and they've been trying to get into their kids' school. So, they were successful. They managed to finagle their way into the school dressed up in a trench coat. So let's see what's happening now that they are in the school. And big thank you to Scholastic Press for allowing us to read this book today. So, all right, let's go. Chapter 7. Wow, said Waldo as he and Sassy walked into Ms. Toohey's classroom. This is the most enrichable and educatory classroom I've ever seen. Well, we've never seen any classroom, whispered Sassy. There were posters, mobiles hung from the ceiling, and a skeleton stood in the corner. I'd like to sit near the skeleton, please, said Waldo, in case I get hungry. In case what? Asked Miss Toohey. I'm from Liver, Ohio, said Waldo. Well, what are you doing here? Stuart came over to his dogs. He recognized them immediately. Oh, hello, said Waldo. We're here to save you from the evil overload. Do you know Salty? Asked Miss Toohey. Who? Said Stuart. Yes, said Waldo. We are uncles. Uncles? Asked Mrs. Toohey. Uncles, aunts, cousins, friends, fraternal nincompoops, second hamburgers once removed? Sassy nipped Waldo's foot to get him to stop talking. Our parents are friends, said Stuart. Yes, said Waldo. That sounds good. Wow, that's nice, Salty. You can sit next to Stuart. I'm sure he'll help you get settled. But first, come to the front of the room so I can introduce you. Class, this is a new student, Salty. Please make Salty feel welcome and get up to speed on all of our academics, since I'm sure Salty's other school wasn't as wonderful and rigorous as our classroom. Salty, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I am Salty, said Waldo. Anything else? Asked Miss Toohey. Do you have some favorite things you'd like to tell us about? Yes, said Waldo. Well, what are they? Yes, said Waldo. I like hamburgers. That skeleton is nice. Stuart is my uncle, and I'm from Liver, Ohio. Yeah, well, okay, we'd better move on, said Miss Toohey. Take your seat. Waldo and Sassy walked over to the desk next to Stuart and casually moved the chair to the side so Sassy could lie down. So you see them trying to sit in the chair next to Stuart. Now, students, said Miss Toohey, as you know, your big project is due in 1 week. I know you've all been working hard on your projects and will be ready to present your absolute best work. I will remind you that you all must include a properly filled out information sheet with your presentation. The information sheet is what I will base 90% of your grade on. The information sheet is crucial. Do not neglect your information sheet. Without a properly filled out information sheet, you have no hope. You will fail. Stuart is sweating, Sassy whispered to Waldo. I know, he smells nervous, said Waldo. Hey, Salty, what's up? Said a boy behind the dogs. What kind of a name is Salty? Is your sister's name Peppery? Ignore him, said Stuart softly. Hello, human boy child, said Waldo, turning to face the boy. You smell like frozen meat products that were not heated through properly. Whatever, Salt Man, I'm Bax. Bax the bully. That's very straightforward, said Waldo. That's just who I am. Fair enough, said Waldo, and he turned to Stuart. What is this big project? It's a presentation we have to do. We have to pick a topic and study it for months, and then present our findings in front of the class. Well, that sounds neat, said Waldo. I guess, said Stuart. How's it going? How is what going? The big project, said Waldo, the information sheet. Oh, okay, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool. I have it under control. It's all fine. Well, the information sheet sounds like fun, said Waldo. Really? Said Stuart. What is that delightful smell? Whispered Sassy from under the trench coat. Not backs, you mean, said Stuart, smelling like uncooked meat. No, something else, said Waldo. I can smell it too. I've been smelling it all morning. Liver and sausage, or maybe hamburger. It smells like a giant pile of meat. Where is that coming from? I think that's lunch, said Stuart. Sign me up for lunch, said Waldo. Salty, said Miss Toohey. Is everything okay? I'm hungry. Waldo made his eyes big and sad. Stuart, why don't you and Salty go down a little early so you can get settled in the cafeteria? That's a great plan, Miss Toohey, said Waldo, mistakenly howling a bit in excitement. You really are a good teacher. Oh, Salty, thank you. Chapter 8. All right, let's see what happens. Well, I still don't understand what you're doing here, said Stuart as they walked down the hall. We are your dogs, said Waldo. You're our boy, said Sassy. But most dogs don't pretend to be a person and sign up for school, said Stuart. Well, that's because they're not geniuses, said Waldo. Like we are, said Sassy. You can't save your boy when you're in the backyard patrolling for squirrels, said Waldo. Save me from what? Asked Stuart. School, said Waldo. But first, let's talk about cafeteria. What is cafeteria? Is it where the meat factory is? Well, I guess, said Stuart. No, wait, there's no factory. The cafeteria is where we have lunch. Here it is. This place, said Waldo, looking at the tables lined up in the huge room. Yes, I can smell delicious lunch, but also sweaty sneakers, trumpet spit valves. Human school lunch is different from human home lunch. Well, we also have a gym here and band practice. So we just eat lunch food? Asked Waldo. I'm not sure you could call what they serve here lunch for lunch food. Oh, gross. It's sloppy joes again. I have never smelled anything more delicious, said Waldo. I don't think they even use meat. I think they recycle all the meat from previous weeks. Well, that sounds pretty wise, said Sassy. It won't seem so wise after you taste it, said Stuart. Here, grab a tray and get in line. Wow, this is fun, said Waldo. Tell her what you want to eat, said Stuart, pointing to the woman standing behind the food. Oh, I will have all the sloppy joe, please, Waldo told her. The woman took a plate with a hamburger bun on it and scooped shiny brown meat on top. Is that good or you want more, hun? She asked. I want more, said Waldo, as much as I'm legally allowed to have. She scooped more sloppy joe onto Waldo's plate and put it on his tray. Waldo picked up the tray, leaned over, and ate all the meat and the bun. There's Waldo eating his sloppy joes. No, said Stuart. You're supposed to sit down at a table first. Well, why? Asked Waldo. Didn't I just give you food? The lunch lady asked Waldo, looking at his clean plate. I don't think so, said Waldo, and I do not remember any food. You want egg salad or sloppy joe? Well, sloppy joe, please, said Waldo, and a lot of it. Save some for me, whispered Sassy. I'll try, whispered Waldo. You'll try what? Asked the lunch lady. I will try to eat all your sloppy joe meat so you don't have to save it for next week. You're funny, kid, said the lady. I'm from Liver, Ohio, said Waldo. Don't eat it yet, said Stuart as Waldo put his nose near the meat on his plate. Sit first. Sassy sat and Waldo almost dropped the tray. I mean, come over here and sit at a table, said Stuart. Sassy stood and they made their way to a table. Can we sit with you? Said Waldo. Of course, you're the best dogs in the whole world. It's been nice having you here. We will save you, said Waldo. Hey, quit gabbing and start passing some of that meat down here, said Sassy. Waldo dumped half the sloppy Joe meat from the plate onto the tray. He regarded the lunch for a minute, then pushed a bit more of the meat onto his tray. Then he gave Sassy the plate, and she ate the lunch in 12 seconds. Was that half? Asked Sassy. I'm still hungry. Oh, yes, said Waldo. That was half. But you got to eat the whole first plate by yourself. You should have given me all the meat from this plate. That does not make any sense, said Waldo. Don't worry, though. I'll go back for thirds. You don't get thirds, said Stuart. You're not even technically supposed to get seconds. What? Said Waldo. That's ridiculous. I'm going to faint from hunger, moaned Sassy. I need to nap immediately. And she laid down abruptly, causing Waldo to fall halfway and almost out of the trench coat. Don't you want the tiny carrots from my lunch? Stuart asked. Yes, please, said Sassy, perking back up. Are they wrapped in bacon? No, said Stuart. Well, I'll eat them anyway, said Sassy. Thank you. School is fun, said Waldo. Every day you say it's boring, but it's not. There's meat and a skeleton of bones. There is a bully who made a joke that was not very good, and I got 2 piles of meat. There are big projects and free t-shirts and also meat. And I've heard a rumor about sneakers to chew on. Hey, look who it is, said Bax as he put his tray on the table. I'm going to eat my sloppy Joe with you today. Sometimes Bax sits here, Stuart said. Hello, Bax the bully, said Waldo. Are you enjoying your meat? No, said Bax. I liked it, said Waldo, and I'll finish yours if you don't want it. It wasn't too salty for you? Oh, your jokes are terrible, said Waldo. Hey, Stu and Salty, said Bax, you should get some friends named Carrots and beef and potatoes, and then you'd have a whole meal. Are you hungry all the time like I am? Asked Waldo. Is that why you always talk about food? I'll bet you're hungry all the time, said Bax. Well, that is correct, said Waldo. Yeah, said Bax. I'm done with lunch, Stuart said to Waldo. Are you done eating? Well, will they give me any more food? No. Then I'm done eating. Let's go. Goodbye, Bax the bully. Have fun eating. You have fun eating, said Bax, your salty food. Yes, said Waldo. I have fun eating all my food. See you in the educational classroom. All right. Well, we're going to end there. So it's pretty funny. Those dogs are kind of figuring out how lunch goes at school. And there's a bully, and I don't know, but I'm kind of curious to see what else Bax is going to do in the rest of the book. If he's going to continue to bully the 2 dogs. I really hope not, because that's not okay, right? So you guys have a great, wonderful afternoon, and tune in next week as we continue. 2 dogs in a trench coat go to school. Bye.